Do you have someone in your life that you love that suffers with a mental illness? When it comes to being a caregiver, a family member, a wingman in terms of our own health, today I want to jump in and look at a number of different factors that can contribute to providing a healthier, stronger, more well-balanced you when it comes to the life you're living and whatever title you have, how to focus a little bit on your own wellness. This is an important one, my friends. I'm excited to jump in and get some true needed goodness going. The first thing that we're going to look at today is the being informed. Be informed when it comes to whatever diagnosis that the individual that you care for has. Being informed, we can hear about, okay, this is what this is, but learning what it really is. What are the symptoms? What are things that can trigger the person that you care about into having different episodes or feelings of being overwhelmed? The more we're aware of what it is, these symptoms that are attached along with some realistic treatment options or things that make our involvement a little bit lighter. And so the more that we know and that we're informed, I believe it gives us a better understanding, that aspect of not just empathy, but being kind of aware of what to expect. Awareness gets us further. The more knowledge that we have, it just empowers us. Being aware of triggers, being aware of symptoms, boom, doing some research, it helps. But keeping that balance that sometimes can be really hard to maintain. It can be really hard because sometimes we can say, well, man, kind of feeling guilty about feeling certain ways. Like I am feeling really frustrated. I am really angry, stressed out, lonely, whatever it is, kind of allowing yourself to identify those feelings, validate them, that they're yours. And how do we kind of keep the flow healthy? Allow ourselves to have feelings that we're entitled to have and kind of process them a little bit because it can be hard stuff. It's being aware of what your emotions are, how you're feeling, identifying them, not feeling guilty about it. So this gets us to the next step, which is self-care. So my husband, he has struggled with mental illness. He struggles severely with depression and anxiety. This past year, we needed to readjust ourselves a little bit. He's no longer teaching. It allows for a pursuit of a healthier him, but everyone feels that ripple effect. And we've tried to adjust ourselves a bit in terms of how do we pursue health for everybody in the family. And that could be hard sometimes. I know self-care for me, there's times I've really neglected myself. I talk about it. I talk about the importance of self-care, but applying it to my own life in this situation has been a struggle. And it's something, me being very transparent with you. And this has been a time in my own personal life. It's been tough. But self-care, we cannot be who we need to be in terms of every other title that we hold in our life. And for me, one of my titles is wife. It's not selfish. It is selfless for us to take time. And when we have that ability to just let that click, it goes really far. And so just like we can't force the person we love to kind of pursue that avenue of self-care until they're ready, it's the same thing with us. Nobody can force us. It's letting that light bulb moment of saying, okay, not only am I worth it, not only is this important for my quality of existence, it's important because it's sending a message to the person that I care about in terms of like kind of how to live out life, and hopefully that's something that they make a decision, and if they do, that's awesome, but it's focusing on yourself more. And so when we hear that, it's like, I don't have time, or how do I do that? Or it's taking time to breathe, collecting, and saying, what is my avenues of self-care? Identifying them and rolling with them. It can be really easier to cheerlead, to give words of let's do self-care instead of actually applying it to our own lives, right? Mental illness is real deal here, has been here. We have millions and millions and millions of people struggling, and we're beginning to kind of get the ball rolling with talking about, we need to talk about it and being able to identify what are my treatment options, but then flipping the other end of it for the people that are inside that circle that care about that person. We don't really kind of broach that topic too often. I don't know why, because we need to. And yes, we need to keep informing and making people aware of what mental illness is, and it does not define the person. Talking about it, but also talking about all these people of like, how do I want to have a healthy relationship with this person. I love them, but I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed. And so this is where identifying these things is so important, because when we don't have boundaries and when we try to, I'm going to say, fix people, we can try to fix people. It backfires. We can't fix anyone, just like no one can fix us. And when you're in a role of seeing somebody that you care about hurting or in a funky place, man, that's hard, because you want to help them. And this is where that line that we're going to move on to the next between empowerment and enabling kind of come in, where we can try to take care of things that the person should be doing themselves, or we can try to help them kind of gradually make that transition. But when we are constantly doing certain things that it's not empowering, it's enabling. And so this could be a fine line. This could be a fine line that it's like, okay, I have to take a step back. Where am I with this? I'm cheerleading, I'm encouraging. Let's look at different treatment options, to like, we're going out for a walk today, to whatever it is that whatever the person is struggling with, where we can come up with ideas and encourage, but the aspect of enabling that kind of veers us down this little different path, this different offshoot, can get us in a place that we're actually doing more harm than good. And with that, when we're in a relationship with somebody that we care for, that we love, that level of self-maintenance has to also apply to ourselves. We have to take time for ourselves. We have to be able to kind of grasp, to the extent that we can, things that we can identify that they're going through, to the other end of it of like, I'm going to empower, but I'm not going to enable. That awareness is really important. And I can say this, it's really being okay with talking about the aspect of mental illness. I think sometimes we can shy away from it. I also think the aspect of kindness and empathy, but I think one of these components that is missing right now is the aspect we get really uncomfortable when it comes to mental illness. And mental illness stinks, dude. It's a part of life for millions of people, but our aspect of being willing to be empathetic and kind and refrain to the best of our ability from judgment is really important. So the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it. If you are uncomfortable with an individual, just say hi. Keep on going. There's a battle that we're all fighting, and no one really knows what's going on with anybody. Being aware, being compassionate, and being slow to judge. Boom, important ingredients, my friends. And if you're on this journey when it comes to self-care, trying to grow and work on myself, which I think we should all be on, I hope you'll check out this video. And know if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and pass this message on to your friends and family.